The reason why you get lost in the forest is that you just concentrate on individual trees, but you don't see the forest as a whole. Hello everyone, we are Angela, Sean, and Elizabeth. Today our team will be telling about a proverb can't see the forest for the trees. Firstly, we will talk about its meaning. Literally, this proverb means that when you go to a forest and you just concentrate on individual trees and you don't watch the forest as a whole. Thus, people easily trapped in the forest and can't watch the beautiful view of the forest. On the other hand, this proverb means that he or she can perceive the overview or important things because they just concentrate details too much. First, I will talk about negative effects of seeing only the trees. These days, students only try to learn small details rather than the whole thing. For example, because of the globalization, most of the students learn English. When they learn English, they are only focused on getting good grades on their English test, such as TOEFL. The reason of learning English is to communicate fluently in English so that we can use them, but students are not interested in these things. These cause students which have good score in English tests to communicate badly in English. To be specific, there was a survey in 10 top Korean universities about how well they could speak in English. The result was that only 30% of the students could communicate well in English. The purpose of learning English is to do a good communication, but the government is only worrying about the test score. They are focusing on good grade, not the course which is English. There is another example in our history. Last week, I was watching news, and there was a congressman fighting each other for their own grievances. They had no interest in making Korea better. They were busy filling their desires. After watching this news, I thought of Qin Shi. There was a country called Qin in China. Qin was a country that united the whole Qin Shi era, which was divided into 18 different countries. It was established by Qin Shi. He only focused on uniting several thoughts in the time and building huge buildings. He was focusing on expanding his power. He burned books on the Chinese classic and buried thousands of Confucian scholars alive. Those scholars were clever and they could have made China into a better country. Also, construction of big buildings needed lots of people. He made the citizens to build the Great Wall of China in his town. The citizens were mad at him, and after he died, the country didn't collapse. Qin Shi only concentrated on making the country bigger. He ignored the citizens' mind and made scholars die. He wanted a forest, great strong China, but he was chopping down the trees. The country did.
And thirdly, we will talk about a dog appears and eats of flavor. You will all this story, but some who couldn't remind this story, I will explain this for you. There was a dog goat with the meat in his mouth, and it is crossing the river, and he found him reflected in the river's surface. That dog has a meat to the dog face, and he plans to bark at that dog and scare away that dog and have the meat. He takes a deep breath and he opens his mouth to bark, and meats fall into the river. The dog saw a tree named a dog that it can see and a greediness, but it couldn't realize himself a big forest that the dog was himself. And the fourth example, Narcissus, is a similar example with this. Narcissus is a shepherd, appears in Greek myth, and he was so handsome and beautiful. Many fairies loved him, but he loved no fairies. And one day he was walking around the lake, and he was so thirsty he went to the lake, and there he saw himself reflected in the lake. There was a boy which was very handsome and beautiful. So he fell in love with himself. He saw a tree named Handsome Boy, but he could not recognize the face he could see in the river was himself until his death. And the last example is a child of mixed blood. So, do you know who is he? He's Mason. His father is Canadian, so we can tell him that he's mixed blood. Some people discriminate mixed blood from Southeastern Asia, like Philippines or Vietnam or like Malaysia, because their skin is so black and they're different to each other, so we can accept them. But they're only judging themselves as single-souled trees, named their hair, skins, and their, old features, but they couldn't concentrate on the whole forest, which they are Korean. Government says in Korean, and they can say Korean, but we're just judging them by seeing their single features.
On the other hand, there are some positive effects of seeing only the trees. We can get an accurate grasp of details which can help the whole thing to develop. For example, when we learn English, the details such as alphabet, pronunciation, and grammar should be known well to speak good English. Also, if we look at the details, each can bring unique ideas rather than the unified one. Diverse outcomes are welcomed in these societies. For instance, Steve Jobs could success because he had different thoughts. He focused on single details like designs. When we search about the origin of this proverb, we can find the origin. It is because the origin is unknown. After research about the proverb, can see the forest for the trees without many things. In the life, we will encounter many trees and forests. So we should like our sights and try to watch the details and the whole thing of the situations or problems. Therefore, we think can see the forest for the trees is a proverb which can provide an important lesson to our life. Thank you for listening.